Well, today on the channel, we have got a ton of information as usual for you. We got how a hiker almost got killed with the actual video of that going on. We've got something that the hikers can do that's probably the only thing they'll do on the trail that's healthy for them, other than the actual hiking portion of it. And then we just got a slew of hikers that have started and a slew more off of our support list that are getting ready to get started. So it is indeed an exciting time for the Appalachian Trail NOBO through hikers out there and the hiker community, because you get to be a part of it out there by watching this channel and going and cheering them on. Let's go ahead and get started. So we got Waterboy. He is currently in Gatlinburg. Took some time out of the Smokies due to the temperatures, but he is getting on back into the Smokies ASAP. I wanted to go ahead and throw it at you there. He had what has got to be one of the scariest moments on trail. It ain't a bear that almost got him. It is something else that's almost got him. Let's go ahead and roll that video.
Oh yeah, it's windy today, boy. Holy shit. Holy shit. Did y'all just see that shit? Oh my God.
Seriously, he's lucky to be alive. I cannot believe he caught that on video. Thanks for sending that in, Waterboy. So, obviously, you know, people get off trail when it's going to be a bad storm coming up, bad rainstorm, really bad temperatures, but you need to think about what if it's going to be extreme wind out there. I would suggest you getting off trail, getting into a hostel or getting into an open area or something like that. And, you know, particularly this year, now that tree was a rotten tree and it had been there for years, or it had been rotting for years. That wasn't probably not part of Hurricane Helene. But there are plenty of trees out there that could come down, and through the North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, Southern Virginia section, this probably will be a dangerous year for hikers out there with all the trees that are coming down and everything. Heard last week how a tree came down in front of a hiker. Didn't get it on video like this one, but wow. So be careful out there, folks. Let's keep on going on. So Fancy Pants and Curious George, they're on their B2B, their Bama to Baxter hike, and they are avoiding some snowy conditions out there. But now they're back on trail now that we've had some warming, and they expect to be at the the northern terminus. In other words, done with the Pinhoti this week. So then they'll be skipping over to the BMT, the Benton McKay Trail. They're going to do that Sobo, I guess, so that they can stay around home maybe. And then they'll be connecting up with the AT there in Springer. The BMT is only about 70 miles, so that's not going to take them that long to do that. Curious George here, he looks like he is kind of the worse for the wear. He looks like he needs a bath, but he looks like he's enjoying himself hanging out there. Jameson, he's gotten on trail as of today. Titanium, he is back on trail, and he should have crossed into North Carolina by now. He sends in this video.
So this is Titanium. I'm at around the bend. It's the 19th of February, and my knee's okay, and I've been cleared, so I'm going to give it another shot. I hope you're doing well, and I'm hearing that the trail's in good shape, but I just thought I'd let you know that I'm going back on trail starting tomorrow morning, and I'll be starting from Dix Creek Gap. I hope everybody else is out there is being safe, and I hope to see you on the trail.
So that was at Around the Bend Hostel there, which is closed last year, but is now reopened again. They're Stanimals. So I think it's called Stanimals Around the Bend, but things are going great there, my understanding is. Denny Moore, he checks in this week, and so he made it to Fontana, which is the doorstep to the Smokies, and took several zeros there along with some other people because the temps were just supposed to be absolutely miserable up in the Smokies, like negative numbers at the altitudes there. So took a couple zeros there, but now he has gotten out on trail, and they are heading on into the Smokies. Hopefully he should be done with the Smokies this coming week. And along the way there, waiting for the temperatures to warm up, he came across Laughing Donkey, Canadian Bacon, and a few others out there. So if you're tracking those folks, and Canadian Bacon is one that started out with us. We hadn't heard from her here lately, but she is out there on the trail. And the picture there, this right here that he sent in of him up there on the bald with that rime ice and the rice coming up the valleys and the draws there, that makes me want to get out on the trail. And hopefully I'll be getting out on the trail here real soon. Charity Becker got started a few days ago and was bag tag number 228 down at Amicalola Falls State Park. And Dan Levy, he got on trail on the 20th. And he was tag number 246. So to give you just a little reference about where we are as far as the bag tag and the registration and how many hikers are been on trail, and comparing that to a couple years past. So in 24 by this time, we were somewhere around 400 plus on the bag tag ID numbers, people that had actually got checked in. And in 2023, we were at bag tag number 567. So obviously, Dan Levy being on the trail at 246, that's like 50% down from what it is before. Now, I don't think it's 50% down, but I think the registrations are down. He said temps have been cold, and he actually met a guy who had real frostbite on his hands there at Gooch Shelter. So you got to make sure that you're out there, that you've got the proper gear, the proper equipment. That includes for your hands out there. He did say the water sources are flowing well and that the warmer weather has rolled in, and so some of the areas that were covered in snow are now got a little bit of mud out there for you. So it's not Vermud is bad, but it is Georgia mud. Mark Trail, he got on this week under what he said was some pretty chilly conditions, and they look like it from the pictures he sent in. He was bag tag number 187, and he should be past Neal Gap and on his way to Dix Creek Gap by now. Dog tag is on trail, and he sent in this video.
Well, hello from Springer Mountain parking lot. This is Dog Tag signing in with you. Ramdino, just letting you know that I'm officially on the trail. It's February 16th, and I've done the 0.9 to the peak and returned, and now I am officially heading north from the parking lot. So you all take care, and we'll try to keep you updated, and everybody be safe. And we'll see you all later, alligators.
Scott Free, he got back on trail, and Scott Free is back on trail after some injuries, I believe, from last year, and he is redoing the whole thing all over again. Straps, OG, and Boston, they have made it to North Carolina, and they sent in this video.
Hey, Ramdino, Boston,
Hey, Ramdino.
OG, and Straps. We're at the North Carolina. We're in your state, heading north.
Luscious, who's been checking in with us every week, he has made it through the Rhone, and he is continuing north. He took a break there at Rhone Mountain where they had a lot of snow. He sends in this video.
Hello, Ramdino. Luscious here. You might not recognize me in these loner clothes, but I'm taking a snow day 0 at the Appalachian Station at 19E. And it's just great here. Food, beers, enjoying the heck out of it, and looking forward to the next few days of hiking. I'm gonna come across the sections of the trail that I helped work on back in November and December. So that'll be kind of neat to see all that in the context of being a through hiker. And let me just give you a little sense of what it's like outside here today. Whew, getting snowed on.
So we're going to hear a little bit more from Luscious here in just a minute, but definitely coming through. And so he is in that zone there where the devastation zone was. He's already come up through, Hot Springs and come in through the Rhone Mountain Highlands. So he is out of Tennessee now. He's going through the Irwin section. He's coming in now to the backside there where Iron Mountain Gap and all this other devastation is. So we will hear from him in just a minute. And then Rich, he sends in his intro video.
Hey Ramdino, my name's Rich. I'd like to introduce myself and let you know that I'm going to be on trail March 4th, 2025, starting at Springer Mountain. You can follow me at Seasoned Hiker on YouTube. See you on trail.
And Mike, he's got an intro video.
Hey Ramdino, this is Mike. I'll be doing a 2025 Appalachian Trail through hike northbound this year from Gaston. You can follow me at Alpha Vegan on YouTube. Can't wait to get out there, and thank you for all you do. Bye.
So we got a slew of hikers now that are out there on the trail. Those folks are checking in with us now, and hopefully they'll continue to check in every week. If you're a hiker out there on the trail, you want to check in and send us your updates, whether you're on my support list or not, you're more than welcome to do that. You can send me a selfie or a 30-second video from the trail out there, and just send that in my, the links are down below to my Instagram and Facebook, where you can send a message, or you send it to me in an email, and let us know how things are going with you, how things are going with other folks out there on the trail, and the trail conditions, things like that, because we are interested in knowing, and that's where we get most of our information from, is what's going on with the trail. Now, we got a bunch of people that are on our list, just like we did last week. We got a bunch of people that are starting their hike this coming week. But before we get to that list, I wanted to show you something that is probably the only healthy thing, if they decide to do it, that hikers will do on the trail while they're out there for themselves. Hey, when we're out on trail, we're eating garbage. Let's face it. I mean, we're eating junk. We don't even know what's in it. Half the stuff, we can't pronounce it. This stuff right here has got silicone dioxide, ethyl alcohol, chicken flavor. What the heck? Why? What is that doing in my food? Here I've got in my tuna, I've got corn yeast extract. Why is there corn, much less yeast extract, in my freaking tuna? I'm not going to tell you what kind of junk's in all of these. We got to get something in us that's good for us as we're hiking down the trail. And there's no better way to do that than get you some Element drink mix to replenish those electrolytes that you got to have out there on the trail. Element's got 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. Everything you need to get you down the trail. Nothing's going to bog you down. Going to give you the energy, and mainly, most of all, it's going to replenish those electrolytes. And right now, if you go to drinkelement.com/Ramdino, they'll give you a free sample pack with any order. That's drinkelement.com/Ramdino. Go and get you some. See what I did there? I stuck that in on you guys. But in any case, that is, Element is awful healthy. I drink them all the time, practically every day. And they really help me out as far as getting electrolytes back into my system. Now, let's go ahead and talk about who's starting from our support list. And the support list, the link to this is down below. If you're not on it, you want to get on it, you want people to be able to find your social media, that's the best way to do it. And then the hiker community, the link to that is down below as well. And for you guys that want to put yourself on it, the forum link to do that is down below. And the hiker community and other Thru hikers can go to that and find your social media links down below. So we got, starting this coming week, we got Nick Corbin, Freeze Dried, Speedo, 2 Cents, Alpha Gale, Gary Brooks, Crystal Crowder, and Will Nelson, Push, Creek, Maureen Stays, Big D, the Mailman, Mama Bear, and Bear, Gary Brooks, Josh and Elizabeth, Jeff Anderson, Chuck Smith, Jedi, Peebs, Marcus Schnorr, Hilltopper, Sunflower, Treehouse, Rhonda Himes, and Scoutmaster. So Scoutmaster has hiked it before, I think in maybe 2019, 2020, 2018, I can't remember. But it was several years ago. But he's hiked it, and he is always a fun one to go and watch. He'll tell you exactly how things are out there on the trail. So registrations with the ATC, of course, they continue to go down. Now we've had more people registered, but they're down from previous years. So last week, over this past week, we had 220 additional NOBO that registered, for right now a total of 1,928. We had 22 more flip-floppers register for a total of 144, and we had looks like we had, hey Daisy, looks like we had we've lost a few Sobo in there. So our total increase of hikers from last week was 197. So right now we got somewhere around 2,092 folks. So that's down from previous years. Here's a little graph that I put together over the past few years, with our highest year being in 2022, and it dropping ever since then. We are maxed out for 4 days on the trail this year. Now that pales in comparison to last year when we were maxed out for 29 days. on the trail. Maxed out being more than 50 people hiking, getting on trail at any given day. So we are at the beginning of the bubble. Excuse me, Daisy, I'm right in the middle of something, girl. We are in the beginning of the bubble, and that will continue over the next 3 to 4 weeks, and then we'll start coming out of the bubble where the people will be getting less and less out there. All right, Daisy, I'm going to have to let you down, little girl, okay? All right, you hop down and go play with Coda wherever Coda is, okay? All right, good girl, good girl. All right, so some news that we got going out there. So for you folks that up and around New Hampshire that may be anticipating getting out, they have had a lot of snow up there. Last weekend, snow dumped a good bit in the northern mountains, and this is coming from Whispers, our northern correspondent up there from in New Hampshire. He said the whites got over a foot of snow on top of what they already had. So with all the wind, the trails are a mix of tall drift, glazed over snow, and glazed ice. And he said that snowshoes are required almost everywhere. But he did say with a mild warm up this week, it's likely the icing's going to get worse because it warms up during the day and then ices at night. So Marty, our Tennessee Trail Angel correspondent, he's at Our Mountain Gap, and Marty has put out a bear-proof trash can, just like the National Park Service trash cans, that he bought on his own. And he put that out there for hikers, and so he kind of judges how many hikers have been through based upon how much trash in his trash can, and he said he's just not seeing hardly any. So in his mind, that means it's not too many hikers that have come through Iron Mountain Gap yet, but they are coming. And I'm thinking that Luscious may be coming. If he's not already through, he may be through there in a day or so. Last week when I spoke about the trail being cleared and how exciting it was to see less and less red on the map that Bright Eyes has organized, and the spreadsheet that Bright Eyes has organized for me, put all that together with information she's gleaned and I've sent to her from trail maintainers that sent it to me. And so she's done the work on that. So greatly appreciate that, as well as my Trail Angel list. She organized what was a hot mess into a really coherent thing now. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But in any case, when I spoke about that, I neglected to say all this is due to the trail maintainers up there. So, I mean, those guys are just the heroes of the trail. I know people don't like to use that word hero. They save it for people that are shot in the military or a cop or that prevented somebody from getting killed or something. But as far as the trail goes, these trail maintainers up there are heroes, and the volunteers that got out there and helped them. And so I would really be negligent if I did not give them the proper accolades that they should have. And I think Luscious put it best. So Luscious is, like I said, he was at Roan Mountain. He's now going through that area. He actually worked in that area, came up from the Outer Banks, worked on there for a couple days with trail maintainers, maybe more than a couple days, but worked on there to help clear some stuff. And he said, everywhere you look is a story of heroic effort. Yesterday, I noticed every root ball north of 19E had been filled. Today, I'll hike through sections I worked on during my second Tennessee Eastman trip. As for new blowdowns, everything luscious size and smaller I dragged off the trail. There remain some duck unders and really minor go-arounds, but we're talking less than half a dozen during a 20-mile day. These clubs and vigilantes like Steve of Unicoi Shuttles are killing it out there. So thanks a lot to Steve and the Tennessee Eastman and Joe Morris heading those guys up out there. It's just been awesome to see how much has been cleared, and we're going to continue to, here in just a minute, talk a little bit more about some of their efforts and how it is mitigating some of the issues going on right now with what's going on with the National Park Service and the National Park Service. So Outdoor 76 is starting a free hiker shuttle from Dix Creek Gap there to Clayton, Georgia. They will be picking up 2 times a day at 10:30 and 3:30 and dropping back off. So they'll pick you up, bring you into Clayton, Georgia. Everything's within walking distance. You know, you can stay in Clayton, Georgia. You can resupply and get back on the next shuttle coming back out there. There's just a lot going on there in Clayton, Georgia. And I know a lot of people go at Dix Creek. That's where Around the Bend Hostel is, so they may stay there. But then there's also folks that go into Hiwassee But this is taking you into Clayton, Georgia, there to Outdoor 76, where they have a branch out there. So that is awesome. I was giving Bright Eyes a huge shout out just a minute ago about the Trail Angel list. So I do have that Trail Angel list. That's an emergency Trail Angel list. So if you're a thru hiker out there and you get in trouble, you can't get another shuttle, that's a 4-pay shuttle. You get where you just need a resupply out there and you can't find somebody that'll bring that to you, then I have Trail Angels that want to come and help you. We want to make sure that, all this area is devastated, and so those paid services out there, those paid businesses, we want to make sure that we are bringing our money to that area to help them with that. But if that's not an option for whatever reason, then I do have a Trail Angel list that'll help you out. And you can request that. I don't make that, there's no link down below. I don't make that public knowledge to protect those Trail Angels. So if you want a copy of that, you'll need to be on my support list, or you'll need to send me a screenshot of your ATC registration. I did want to speak out on the ATC's announcement here that the hikers got, and I'm sure others did as well, about the cuts to the National Park Service and National Forest Service. Not going political here, but I wanted to just bring some, hopefully some facts to what's going on there. One of the things that was put out by the Sandra Mara, the CEO and president, she said these terminations will significantly impact the quality of the hiking experience and safety for millions of people who visit the trail every year. I don't agree with that. While the terminations may have some impact, and if you're a thru hiker, I would like to know, and section hikers and day hikers as we go, I'd like to know what kind of impacts you've seen because of these cuts that we've had there. But I just don't see that it's significantly impacting the quality of people's hike out there. For that matter, I don't even see the Hurricane Helene significantly impacting the quality. It's going to be a different hike, yes, but your hike is what you make out of it. And so while, it may not be people's hikes last year, it's going to be your hike. And so think about that while you're out there. I don't think it's going to impact the safety of millions of people who visit the trail every year, because it's the trail can be a dangerous place as it is, and there's never a National Forest Service or National Park Service person to sit there and coddle you and help you along. There's still going to be emergency services that are going to get to you. That's not going to change, if you need that. So there's still going to be improvements that are made on the trail to help with any kind of safety factors out there. And those aren't done, for the most part, by the National Forest Service and National Park Service anyway. Those are done by the trail volunteers that are out there. We will talk about one exception that I'm aware of with the National Forest Service here in just a minute. She also indicated these agency terminations are threatening the very fabric of the ATC's cooperative management and compromising efforts to ensure a healthy, resilient, and connected AT. I believe that's just going a little too far to say they're impacting the fabric. I just don't believe that. So certainly there's going to be in some impacts, and in any time then there is a reduction in force out there, and these things are natural. They're natural in the government, they're natural in private stuff. There's always times that you have to come back. You just can't keep adding to payroll. There are times when you're going to have to take some of that away. And so we're at that point right now, and I just don't believe that's going to negatively impact the fabric. I think that's just, I'm not going to say that's fear-mongering, because I have kind of taken on a new mantra of not ragging on the ATC. So I'm just trying to, certainly some of this is my opinion, but it's based on facts that I know from trail maintainers and other people out there on the trail. The ATC, or the AT, is considered a national park, but it's maintained by the volunteers, like those great volunteers of the Carolina Mountain Club and Tennessee Eastman Club, and saws that are out there working with crosscut saws in wilderness areas, and the Georgia Appalachian Trail Club, and there's all kind of trail clubs, over 30 of them up and down the trail. So that's who it's maintained by. It's not maintained by the ATC. The ATC has a lot of people that they're supposed to be coordinating some of that. They got a huge payroll. And so some of that payroll does help with the maintaining, but some of that payroll is also about maintaining payroll, about getting more donations coming in, about working with people that donate and high volume donators. So I just don't think the fabric of the AT is going to be interrupted that much. I think right now there's a lot of work going on by the trail maintainers that are fixing the fabric of the trail. I will say this, that there have been some National Forest Service employees out there who have been cutting their way along beside the Tennessee Eastman Club, cutting their way through to clear the trail out there. One of them, I don't know his last name, his first name's Brandon, and I've just heard all kind of great things about Brandon from Joe Morris out there. So, and from the Unicoi Shuttle and some other folks out there. So thanks a lot, Brandon. Don't know his disposition of his job out there, but he is one, and his crew is one that has been employed by the National Forest Service and have been out there and been a part of that. Would that wood have gotten sawed and cleared if Brandon hadn't been there? Yeah, Joe would have taken care of it, and his crews would have taken care of it. Wouldn't happen as fast, but they would have taken care of it. But my opinion is the cuts to the National Park Service and the National Forest Service, they're just not going to greatly affect the AT. Ridge runners are still going to be organized by the ATC. They're still going to be paid by the ATC. ATC is a private organization, so there's not going to be, you know, unless they do it themselves, there's not going to be any cutbacks there on the ATC. And to be quite frankly with you, with the size of their payroll, maybe they could stand a little bit of efficiency too. But I don't think that that's going to cause huge problems for the hikers out there. She went on to say that 10% reduction of U.S. Forest Service staff and 5% reduction of the National Park Service will further hinder already understaffed teams and severely delay the agency's approval and supervision of critical trail improvement projects, including treadway and shelter repairs in the areas impacted by Hurricane Helene. So that's baloney. And I'll say that's why that's baloney, because as we already heard before, Luscious said that from where he was at 19E to the point where he had gotten so far, the root balls had all been covered in. I know for a fact right now that that is a major focus since they've cleared the pathway, with the exception of the 0.7 of a mile at Rome Mountain, at Iron Mountain Gap. That's what the Tennessee Eastman, that's what they're doing out there. They are sending crews to work on root balls. Heck, I worked on root balls out there while they were still clearing, still cutting wood and still clearing a pathway through it. So now that that's punched through, now they're concentrating their efforts. The ground crews, or, and when I say ground crews, I mean dirt crews, on fixing root balls, putting in steps, fixing all that, and they are doing some absolutely beautiful work out there. But they still got sawyers, and the sawyers now are concentrating on clearing the tent sites around the shelters there. And they're doing a great job there. And then where you've got like the Mountaineer Falls is like 1/10 of a mile off the trail. They're clearing that so people now can actually get to, you know, a feature of the trail that's off-site. So look, there's by the reduction of Forest Service staff and everything, that's not impacting what's going on. It may be taking a little longer. I don't know if the U.S. Forest Service ever gets in there and does any type of treadway work, but right now, Tennessee Eastman, I know for a fact, is busting it in there. And all those folks that go along with it. So they are doing huge work to get everything cleared and get it to where tents can go in there. So the trail's been there for over 100 years. It's changed over the years, of course. Hadn't always been as long, hadn't always been mostly in the woods. Used to have a lot of row walks, but it's been there for over 100 years. I think it's going to be there through this year, and I think as people adapt to less payroll with the federal government, I think that all of that's going to work itself out. Appalachia Trail is going to be there because the trail maintainers are going to be there. Now, if the trail maintainers aren't there, that's when we all need to start panicking and running through the hills with our pitchforks and our torches. All right, folks, that's all I got this week. As always, appreciate you, and I hope to see you out here.